Welcome back. This week we start our first Atlantic crossing leg, Spain to the Canary Islands. So we're off. We have left Tarifa at 7:30 a.m. and we have between 600 and 650 nautical miles all the way down to the Canaries, depending on how many times we jibe. We are super excited. The forecast looks still good, which is why we're leaving, and it should get a little bit heavier once we are closer to the Canary Islands, which is totally fine. It should sort of blow us in. We have officially left the Med. We are keeping north of the TSS, and then once that is over we will cross the shipping lanes and start heading south. At the moment we are heading west.
I am sitting at this bar trying to forget.
It feels great to make progress towards the Caribbean after spending 3 months in a boatyard. Sailing the North Atlantic in winter can be challenging, but we took the best weather window we could find. It's beginning of February and the temperature is still quite low offshore.
In my dreams I pick you up. I just wanna take you right. I know all about it. Oh, wanna drown into your eyes and feel your blue skies there. So deep in you, I'm blinded by your bittersweet shine. I get what you need, I'll make you feel free. Be mine tonight and feel your blue skies within. Do you think of me when you're on your way home? Holding hands along the track.
The swell out here is absolutely delicious compared to the Med where we've gotten used to sailing skua. The waves are just like so shallow and gentle and rounded, so even though we're like maybe sailing 40 degrees to the wind, it's just so smooth. You can barely feel it. I think this is like the conditions that sailboats are made for, not in the Med where it's like steep chop. But so far it's been amazing. We're kind of between shipping lanes at the moment, kind of in the middle of where the ships go. So we might put the engine back on to nip across the southern one where the ships are going east into the Med, or we might just stay like this, depends on how much shipping's around really. And yeah, really nice morning. The shipping lanes are fairly clear at the moment, so we're just kind of cruising along, all 3 sails up. I think there's still a little bit of east going current out here, which is normal. So normally in these conditions we'd be going a little bit faster than 4 knots because there's 13 knots of apparent wind, but I think we're just being pushed back a little bit.
Time has been so hard on us, my friend. Sun goes down but we get back again.
We're glad we spent the night in Tarifa to cross the shipping lanes in the light. It's a lot easier to keep an eye on the ships, and we're a lot more visible to them with our white sails up.
So we're pretty much through the shipping lanes. This big guy behind me, where is he? Ooh, up here is kind of the last ship south for the actual like east-west shipping lanes. So from now it's just dealing with whatever normal kind of ships come and go. There'll still be quite a lot of ship traffic I expect, but yeah, not as dense as it is around here. And yeah, that's it really. It's a pretty uneventful crossing. I had to radio this last ship because our CPA was about 0.1 miles but by the time we spoke on the radio he'd already altered his course. So yeah, that's all good really. You can see Africa over to the south, but I doubt the camera will pick it up. And now we're just making our way past towards the Cape off Tangier. And I think there's a bit of a wind acceleration zone there, but we'll see. At the moment we've got about 8 knots of apparent wind, and I think there's still a little bit of east going current, but yeah, it's quite on the nose, so I might bear away a bit and see if I can get us sailing at a decent speed, and then we might have to tack to go past the Cape. We've cleared the headland to the west of Tangier, so we're heading southwest, and it's a bit strange. There's fog, quite a lot of fog around. There's another boat which is sailing behind us, and they're on AIS, so that's fine. But there's been a fishing boat which passed really close to us, just on the limit of the fog, maybe like 150, 200 meters away, something like that, and we could hear its engine. And Eleanor said, "Oh, maybe it's just a helicopter." But yeah, I don't think there'd be helicopters out here. I'm not sure why they would be out here. So I grabbed the foghorn and gave them some blasts, and they appeared just on the edge of the fog and went, which was a little bit of a worry because they didn't have AIS, and they only just showed up on the radar. But not really enough to tell where they were going or anything like that. But that was fine, and now the fog's clearing a bit. We can see the moon. It's 3:30 in the afternoon, so a couple more hours and then we'll have dinner and the sun will start going down. Hopefully the fog will be clear for the night, because it's not much fun being in fog in the night.
Yeah, I just cleared out, but I think I can see it coming back from the sky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's coming back. But we're doing 3.5 knots, and the sea is dead calm, so really nice. As we sail on, the fog slowly dissipates, just on time for sunset. It's 3:30 a.m. We've had a bit of a engaging night, loads and loads of fishing boats, and now I'm sailing and there's a huge fog, so I'm relying a lot on the radar because visibility is pretty much none. Gotta get going. I don't want to miss any of these fishing boats in the fog.
Last night was a little bit of a slog. There was a lot of fishing boats. It seemed like most of Morocco were out fishing last night, and we had to avoid a lot of them, slalom through a lot of them, while at the same time being overtaken by tankers. So I didn't get a lot of sleep, especially up until about 3 a.m. when went on watch and slept for a few hours. But I think today we'll just focus on resting. It's just turned day, even though you can barely tell, to be honest. I'm not sure the cameras really pick up that it's actually daylight outside, but it's now I think about 8 o'clock. So I'll let Eleanor sleep for as long as possible and then get some sleep myself.
The next day, the wind increases, which is good news because we were going quite slow.
The wind was pretty gusty this morning, gusting up to about 18-19 knots, but then it would drop to about 9 knots. So the boat speed would be changing quite a lot. So I hadn't put the hydrovane on yet. I was letting the autopilot deal with it because I haven't really figured the hydrovane out with the new mainsail yet. But it seems like it works really well together. The smaller main seems to create less weather helm. So that's really good because then when the boat powers up in the gusts, it doesn't suddenly need a load of main rudder to correct it. So we're going along quite happily now. It's not as gusty as it was. We need to concentrate quite a lot on sleeping and making the boat as comfortable for the off-watch person as possible, because otherwise on these longer passages you're just going to get ground down and grumpy and not enjoy it. So that's the plan. So far today is a lot more pleasant than last night, even though you can see it's pretty cloudy behind. There's pretty good visibility all around, and there is the odd patch of blue sky. It'd be good if the sun came out because we're relying on the solar panel to charge the batteries really. This is one of those nice little wind bursts we've been having today. I wouldn't really call it a gust because it only goes up to about 15 to 18 knots, so it's not dramatic, but it just gets Skua skipping along really nice. She's sailing really well when there is some wind with her new bottom paint and the new mainsail, which I found really good. It's really controllable. You can really flatten it, or you can have it quite with a big draft. In 15 knots she's doing like 6 knots easy, like without even heeling over that much, without even sort of trying very hard.
We found ourselves reefing and unreefing a few times an hour in the gusty conditions. To make the process of reefing down more efficient, we decided to mark the main halyard at the 3 reefing points. This will allow us to drop the main more precisely before reefing. Then it's time to pull the Yankee out. We work together to move the spinnaker pole into position and attach it to the mast and the Yankee sheet. Finally, we jibe the mainsail and put a preventer in place to avoid an accidental jibe.
The wind has shifted round into the east and seems to be a steady 8 to 10 knots. So we poled out the Yankee and let the main all the way out onto kind of like a deep broad reach. And the boat's going along really nicely, 4 knots in 8 to 11. So yeah, this is a nice little setup and it's pretty relaxed on board. Gonna have dinner in a bit. That's dinner on day 2 of the trip from Tarifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, day 2. And yeah, it's pretty cloudy, but thankfully no fog today.
I'll let you go, just need some time. At your own pace, you need to find your way. I know now you'll never change your mind.
So Eleanor's just gone down to sleep. I've just set the boat up wing and wing because we've got a light breeze from behind, but while I was down there the boat turned around. So I just need to move her back around again. And it's really, really nice out here tonight. The cloudy sky has just disappeared. We've got the moon up and Venus, and there's a little bird. I don't know, had a really long beak. Maybe it'll come on land, that'd be cool. Yeah, set the boat up, wing and wing. Again, we're sailing directly towards Venus, which is really nice. Nice bright steering planet, as opposed to a steering star. And yeah, it's really nice light, really calm, really flat.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, consider joining our Patreon crew or buying us a beer through PayPal. Join us next time for more North Atlantic sailing.